have Mr. Ikeda.
Okay, very good. We have prayer we can begin. Jeff, thumbs up. Okay. Glennis, you good? Okay, thank you. Hello, everybody. Thank you very much. The Hawaii County Council is now reconvened. Thank you for allowing us to take a very short break. We do have more testifiers here in Kona. We're going to continue on with our Hilo testifiers. So, Nora, your next two testifiers, and then we'll come back here to Kona. Go ahead.
Okay, our next testifiers are J. Hampton, speaking on several items. Resolution 308-12, Draft 2, Resolution 313-12, and Resolution 323-12, as well as bill numbers 306, 333, 266, Draft 5, commenting.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. Is this on?
Please turn.
Okay. Good morning, Council. Good morning, Chair. I'm pleased to be here today to speak on these issues. I'll move through them and say which one I'm talking about and then move through them so that you can reset the timer. For those of you who are leaving the Council, I salute you. I wish you all the best in the future and that you remain involved and that we have hear good things from you and all the things that you've done. I thank you for that. Now, on to Resolution 313-12. Please don't do it. I want to tell you something. I am so sick of the community development plan and all of their revisions and visions from the first moment that they ever said pass it now, amend it later. I can only tell you that this resolution stinks. It stinks because, in one sense, the people and the players that have been monopolizing the planning are now acting like this is a race or something where, please let us get our act together and let us know what we're going to do because what we planned isn't really working and the maps ain't right and this ain't right and we want to fix it because we want it to be perfect. And as John Olson said in a planning commission hearing, we are not God. Not only are they not God, but they have no God. And that is why this whole Puna CDP sucks and stinks. And that's just from the way it is. And the revisions will keep coming hot and heavy. As far as making moratorium, I say stand aside and let the new council make this decision. Moving right along. The mayor authorizes, give them the natural resources. This is like the camel's nose under the tent, Resolution 314-12. There's a lot of goodies out there that we know we've been not going after, and we need to go after them. So these are the things that I think the mayor in the next 4 years is going to be doing. So I applaud that we're getting off of our butts, and we're going to start taking advantage of some of the designations and the funding and grants that are out there if we can ever get our act together. But the other side of it is I'm just torn. That's why I oppose and I comment on all of these things because in the other sense, in my mind, I say I'm living in an occupied land and I'm looking at the laws and I'm looking at the wrongs that have been done and I'm sitting here talking about other people's land that really isn't their land, but it belongs to somebody else. And so when I do this, I always do this with a double-edged sword. So when I speak, I sound like, well, what do I really believe? I believe that there will be an evening of the playing field so that we can address these issues. The other thing is there's an old adage in the African community when it comes to this whole thing over in South Africa when the wars and the whole thing are happening. If this is your land, pick it up and take it with you. This is what they tell them all the time as you say, this is my land. Possession, okay. We're not supposed to be possessing the land. We're supposed to be caring for it. And in order to keep it, you have to give it away. Resolution 319. I'm liking this because I'm looking forward to our new council person. He's going to have his hands full on with this here governmental relations. I hope that when it's time for one of y'all to go to Washington, D.C., you won't be stingy and you'll send two of you together so that you can learn all of this stuff that y'all are talking about here. A person would have to know where all this stuff is coming from, where to go get it. All this legislation is already written. All you got to do is go to NATO, which relates to ASAC, and everybody's hunky-dory. I'm hoping that all the council people will share this information with us so that we can see how this legislation is going to affect us before it comes to you all. So I hope that next time you kind of like when you're trying to describe these things, put us in the know as to where we can go to get these things. And I say that about the newspaper too. Moving right along to 323, you need to pay your dang stuff and stop moving so fast. I think in the future, I think that the new chairman will stay on top of things. And so therefore won't be so quick to be hiring these folks before you find out whether or not you can pay the bills. And so I say, in deference to us in our good name, please just pay these guys so they can go on about their business. I don't even know if it's fair to pay them, but the mayor says no, you say yes. You need 5. I think you need 5 to go ahead and pay the bill. I'm not sure. I know you needed 6 to hire them. I think you need 5 to pay them. So you guys work that out and get it going on. Again, we're in the dark. We're in the dark, but we pay the bills. Let's see. Transfer stations, by the way. I smell Jacobson on this one, but I also smell future generation. Okay, this pay as you throw. I'm going to say something about all of these things that have come up before me. I'm hoping that the new chair will stop waving all this stuff. Man, the breeze in here is so, I mean, it's like a hurricane around here. All this waving and waving and waving, just send it to council and let them figure it out. Part of why we have the committees is to give us as the public a chance to consider some of this stuff, not sitting up at 12 midnight trying to figure out what I'm going to say or how I want to direct or what my input is. So I'm hoping that the new chair will work on these agendas so that we can give people some information and shed a little more light. That's a complicated one, but what I'm going to tell everybody out there in television land, there is organizations. Call your council person, your current one or whatever. Find out about NACO. Find out about the haystack. Find out. It's all online. Some beautiful legislation. Everyone knows that this whole job here is not about originality. It's about caring for the community and finding out what other people all over are doing and applying it here. That's how most of this stuff gets here in the first place. Go find something that can fix it. Moving right along. I really have to look at my notes now. Pay the bill. Okay. Garbage. I want to say this about that. Now, postpone it to the call of the chair. Don't go passing anything about the whole thing, because I think that the new people that are coming in should have a chance to put the input, and we need a little more time to think about this, because we dealt with this 4 years ago. You know what I'm saying? And we had a whole lot of it, and it didn't go anywhere. Now, as far as this whole Hawaiian Cultural Resource thing, I was legislative aide Emily Howell, and yeah, it was our amendment and everything, and everybody said, oh, it's not what you think, RJ, it's not about Hawaiian culture. And I said, yes, it is. And we need to do it now. But the mayor wasn't ready. But the mayor's ready now. And the mayor's ready because he got land and he got it all put together. He got 4 years to deliver us to some kind of authority and what we're going to do to all this Hawaiian ceded lands or captured lands and how we're all going to live as one. I don't think it's this council's responsibility to be doing it. Please hold off on that one. Let's see. And let's see. Oh, now I'm going to spend the rest of my 3 minutes, and I may not have addressed it. If I missed it, it's because it ain't important. Oil, stop eating fried foods, okay? I told you, it's carcinogenic. You want to deal with it? Go ahead. This agricultural tourism, like the community development plan, the Puna CDP. You know, I'm going to tell you something. I started out in February 1st. I realized we have a cancer still in our community. And although we have voted out one of the cancers and put in a seed of, I consider to be a good medicine for all of us to be able to have access to our county council, I see in my own district, District 5, another cancer brewing. And that cancer is because there is some kind of monopoly on who is supposed to be planning our districts in our county. And I'm tired of these old faces and these fogies that keep on organizing and splitting into all of these, all of these important commissions where they go out and they ask us questions and they keep asking us questions. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of them politicizing the community development plan. I'm ready to tell names, numbers. I'm tired of having to meet at places other than public places, going to other people's museums or places like that in order to do things. This should be decided by the next council. There is so much conflict of interest in this resolution that I hardly even want to touch it. Other than that, I'm talking about Bill 266. Yes, I'm wearing this band. I'm saying to you all, let take the land, make the trail. Everybody be happy, go swim. Like I said, I don't surf, but I do and will defend the right to preserve what we already have. And whoever's coming here from other places with their insurance money or their big dividends or whatever and want to buy up what we are falling under, I say protect us. Make sure that you always protect us, that we have no less than what we have now, and that in the future that you increase it, that you know, and all of you out there that just got elected, that you know your community, start off on a fresh page, and don't believe anything anybody else told you about R.J. Hampton. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Nora. Your next testifier, please.
Our next testifier is Tony Gutierrez, representing himself, speaking in support of Resolution 308-12.
Good morning, County Council. Good to see you guys again. You kind of know my position. I'm for this Resolution 308. I worked 30 years plantation so I could buy my house down there on Mill Road. I bought it. My own self. I worked 30 years for that. My house, my kingdom. I thought so. Veterans Day, I got some guy out front of my house taking pictures of the surfers' cars parking there. I tell you, what are you doing? He said, I'm doing my job. I said, your job's to take pictures of cars in front of my house? I said, what are you bothering people? I'm not bothering people. I said, you're bothering me. He jumps in his car and leaves. He'll be testifying later. I guess he's one of the paid protesters from the Canadians, I guess, because who else would have them in front of my house taking pictures? Anyway, I was born and raised in Philadelphia. When I had to go to the beach, we had to go Jersey Shore. We get up 5 o'clock in the morning, all pile into the van, and we drive 2 hours down to the Jersey Shore so we can get in front of the closest house to the beach so we wouldn't have to carry our ice chests 2 blocks away. Now, I don't have a problem with people parking in front of my house. I invite them to park in my house. I say, park in front of my house and grab some of my tangerines and enjoy yourself at the beach. Some of my neighbors, you pick up a tangerine off their yard, it's a rotten one, they'll call the police. You know, I don't understand these kind of people. The road, as far as our road, the county had to go do eminent domain to put our sewer laterals in, where the manhole covers are on the one side. And on the other side is our water lines and the fire hydrants. So if somebody walks down that road and trips over a manhole cover and breaks their leg, county's liable. Somebody crashes their car on the other side of the road into the fire hydrant, county's liable. County already has liability for this roads. Only thing missing is the dedication, which will then bring us door-to-door mail delivery, police patrols, stuff like that. The community has gotten up and taken control of the beach. We've had 2 cleanups so far. I never see that Squibs guy around. He wasn't there. It was just our community, the people from Papaikou. And just twice we went down there. And now, Mr. Akeda, you can go down without your legs getting itchy. The community would go cut the bottom of the trail that never was widened, and it's real wide and nice now. It's real. It took us 15 years, but the community was allowed to do it, so they went down and they did it. It's better than it's been for 15 years. Now it looks like a real access. And Brenda Ford, I went down with my crutches. I got up, I hadn't charged my leg, so I went all the way down with my crutches on my one leg. You can make it down. You can get down there. As far as handicap access, every beach shouldn't have handicap access. And as far as the alternate parking, I can't walk another quarter mile over that way with my 8 grandchildren to go to my beach right down here. That doesn't make sense to me, nor to the other 56 homes in my community. Well, a few of them. There are some of the people in my community, no kids, no grandkids, have never been down the beach. So they would rather nobody come around. There are a few like that. I'm not speaking for everybody. But there is a lot of us down there who, like I say, want to be able to have the beach, are proud of the beach. I'd like you to pass this, because after 15 years of fighting about this, if there's any new resolution introduced at this time from the side or anything, that'll be a violation of the public's right to know, of the Sunshine Law. So you guys are going to have to vote on this today, and I hope you guys do the right vote. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Thank you very much. We'll go back to if I could ask Dana Keawe to come forward, as well as Anthony Tucci. next speaker here in Kona is Dana Keawe to speak in support of Bill 333. Aloha.
Yes, is this still morning? Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Dana Keawe. I am in support of Bill 333. Thank you today for listening to me, and thank you for all the good work you've all done to support our community in Puna. Thank you. Today I wanted to ask you to support this bill and make an ordinance, and to also approve the amendments that are in this bill for our iwi kupuna. And the reason I'm in support of this is because a lot of our decisions are made in Honolulu by people that don't even come to the places that they're making decisions about. And so I would like to see a commission on this island so that we can deal with the issues that are on this island. There's so much time we have to waste our time because they make decisions over there, and then we have to come to you and tell you, that these people never even came here. And we gotta waste our time to tell you why we know like this. And so this will eliminate so much problems to make a commission on this island with people that are expertise in all the different areas. It's appalling that Hawaiians even have to come and ask for permission for these kind of things. But today I'm gonna humbly ask you to support this bill and to make it an ordinance so that we can take care of our own cultural Hawaiian practices here on this island. And I just want to thank you for your time today. Mahalo. Thank you, Dominic, for all the good work you did for our people in Puna.
Mahalo. Thank you very much for your testimony. Our next testifier here in Kona, Auntie Tutsi. Thank you so much. She said to speak on Bill 33 in support. Aloha.
Aloha. Thank you for giving me and my mopuna the opportunity to be here. As you can see, she's in training. Her first testimony. Well, the reason I came all the way here is because I feel that anytime you want to talk about something that is of concern to you, then you look people in the face who are going to make those decisions for you. And right now, Bill 33 talks about burial practices for our native Hawaiians. And it also is an issue that our bones, our na'o'iwi, our ohana that has been here for generations, being buried here, and that's one of the practices. When we put you down, you stay down. And it's not a native. I don't think you folks would want to have them dig up Punchbowl Cemetery and put a bone mark there, or even dig up our veteran cemetery to make room for another development. I think when it comes to the iwi, na'o'iwi o Hawaii, all of my family buried on this island, which we all love. Consider when your time comes. I don't want my granddaughter in front of a council 50 years from now begging that no one digs up her grandma's bones. So consider that when it comes to Hawaiian traditional practice, when it comes to Hawaii, think of our bones that laid the grounds for everyone to be here today. Think of the villages that lined all the beaches that today line for travelers to come and tourists to come to enjoy, but whose bones made that very land that we walk on, that we decide to develop. Think about your bones here in Hawaii. When they lay you to rest, you want to be at rest and at peace. Consider when the bulldozer comes and bulldozes your grave, how your grandchildren go feel. That's my grandpa. That's my grandma. Important what you do today concerning our children tomorrow. That I see, that's why I bring my mopuna with me. So that's my job now. I'm full-time duty. I'm not working outside, but I get paid for staying home and doing exactly what I love to do. But please, consider this commission. Consider having Hawaiians that know traditional Hawaiian practices sit on this commission. Before they say, oh, no more Hawaiian teachers, no more. Well, today we have Hawaiian governors, teachers, we get, representatives. Today we have people of knowledge that, especially Hawaiians that are very sensitive to the traditional practices that we till today practice. So I come before you and thank you again for the opportunity to speak before, and I love being in front of you. Brenda, beautiful job, Angel. Thank you. I love your wife. Dominic, I thank you so much for being here with us. Continue being with us in our community. Continue being a voice that will draw people and bring it to their attention, regardless of where you go from now as far as politics. And your daughter, God bless her for even having the courage I'm trying on, I get 40, this is my number 14 grandchild. So I'm working on one of them to be up there in that seat to be able to make decisions for us, the Hawaiians, the people. So thank you again. God bless all of you folks. Brittany, beautiful. Mr. Hoffman, thank you very much for being here all this time. Mahalo nui. Mahalo from Kalpano, from Puna. Once again, thank you and God bless.
Mahalo. Thank you very much. Let's move back to Hilo. Go ahead, Nori, next to testifier. And by the way, how many more testifiers do you have, Nora?
We have approximately 12 more to speak.
12 more? Okay, very good. Go ahead, please proceed.
Okay, our next testifier is Sativa, and she'll be speaking in support of Resolution 308-12, Draft 2, to be followed by Jesse Bronco.
Thank you. Good morning.
Aloha. I had also scheduled to also speak on Bill 306 as well as Bill 333. Is that right? Okay, thank you.
Yeah, that's right.
I'll start by speaking on Bill 306. I love this bill. I think this is fabulous, the pay as you throw. I know many people don't like this bill, but the reason I like this bill, although I'm sorry that it had to come to this, I support this bill because when I go to the dump, I see so many people throwing away things that are not recyclable. I mean, that are recyclable. I see them throwing cardboard boxes, I see them throwing papers, I see them throwing recyclable plastic. And it's been so many years of education to try to get people to recycle. And having all this problem with the landfill. And still, you can go any day to the dump and you'll see, I don't know, maybe the majority of people throwing away perfectly recyclable items. So what will happen, when I started to recycle, I realized that when you recycle, you actually have very little landfill trash. Once you get rid of all your plastic, all your paper, and all your boxes, then really what is not recyclable? Styrofoam, certain things aren't recyclable, but actually those are a very small part of the trash. So if we pass this bill and we make people pay as they throw, they will be forced to recycle because it won't cost them anything to recycle, and they'll have very little in the way of trash to throw out. This, for some people, is harsh. Maybe for all of us it's harsh, but medicine sometimes is harsh. We've been living with this concept that you can throw it away. But really, what we're realizing now is there is no away. There's no away. And the away that we put it in is way overpacked with all the trash we've thrown away. So now we have to, as adults, we have to realize this problem for ourselves, for future generations. I didn't have any children, but many people who are listening to this have had children and have children, and they have to consider their investment in the future that for their children. So what I'm saying is, you might not like this bill because it's going to cost you money, and it's sad that people have to be taxed in order to recycle. That's what's sad about it, and it's those people that aren't recycling that are forcing this kind of legislation. But I guarantee you, you put this legislation in effect, this will be good medicine for this island. People will stop filling up the landfill. All of a sudden, everybody will get into recycling, and a few years down the road, it's kind of just like no smoking in the cars. Once you put in laws, no smoking laws, and you get a society that's not smoking, then you're seeing the benefits of the laws. This is the same thing. We might not like this law, but this is going to benefit us, the future generation. So I love this bill. I know it's not popular. I know many people who aren't political actually, people who never talk about politics are talking about this. They don't like it because they're going to have to pay. But really, if you think about it, if you start to recycle, like I said, you'll have very little trash and you won't have to pay hardly anything at the dump. Thank you for this, and I'm going to move on to the next one. The next one I'm going to talk about is the Bill 333 on the Cultural Commission. I support this 100%. This just shows me how long it can take some commissions to be sat. This commission was passed many years ago, and it's taken years to finally get sat. I hope it gets sat with the appropriate people, the cultural practitioners. My only concern about this bill is that when you talk about burials, they're secret burials, and there's a reason that they're secret. Part of why they're secret is that many people with nefarious ends in mind, they will want to move the burials so that they can then develop the land. So you don't really want to tell people where the burials are. So that's my only consideration in this commission, is that they still do not expose where the burials are, because other people may use that information to destroy the burial grounds. Okay, then I'd like to move on to the resolution 308-12. Of course, I like bills better than resolutions, because resolutions are just suggestions and they have no weight of law. But I understand this has to be a resolution as it progresses through. I support this 100%. When people move here and they buy land, a lot of people don't realize that in some of the land, in some of the cases, the public has been using that land to make access to beaches and things like that. I hope this resolution will send a clear and strong message out to future people who plan on buying land on the Big Island, that if you are buying a piece of land that the community has used for many years, you have got to keep the access open. A lot of people buy land that realtors don't tell them. I hope that this sends out a message to realtors. They have got to disclose these kind of things to the people who are buying the land. And, you know, like RJ said, if it's your land, pick it up and take it with you. If it's yours, take it with you. But it's here. And it's sad to me that you don't want to share that access with the community, that you were blessed enough to be given an opportunity to store over that land, and all you can think about doing is denying access to future generations. That you could come from another country to another land that's been taken over, and you can buy land and then deny people access, is outrageous. Absolutely outrageous, and it's sinful. It's a terrible thought. And I hope that in the 21st century thinking, we're moving away from this kind of thought, and we're moving towards a more fair and harmonious situation for everybody. So I absolutely am glad that the council has been passing this, and I support this 100%. I also don't support the making of another trail for all the things that have been said before me, because of the burials that you'll disrupt. There's already a trail there, and so support that 100%. All right, thank you for this opportunity to speak today. Have a great day. Aloha.
Hello, thank you. All right, petition, go ahead, Laura.
Jesse Bronco speaking in opposition to Resolution 308, Draft 2, to be followed by Linda Sesanic.
Thank you, good morning.
Aloha, my name is Jesse Branco. I'm 23 years old. I came to Papaikou at the age of 3. I lived at the first left past Pinky's. My brothers, close childhood friends, spent most of our free time at Papaikou Beach. I love that place. I learned to surf there and witnessed some of the best surfing talent we have on the island. Words can't explain. I still surf there today. I got some of my best barrels there. I love the beach just like it is. I don't want it to change. I want the youth to enjoy it like I did. I know Charlene, and we are friends. We met in a strange way. I was one of 4 young men who jumped over the gate one year on the annual closing day. Charlene was standing right there, asking us to respect the rules. We didn't. We were served a notice of trespass by the police. Then when one of my friends escaped, and the police turned it into an arrest. As I went through the court system, I got to know Charlene. We often talk about how we first met and how our relationship has changed. There are not many people I see who met in that kind of situation and end up being friends. I am one of the founding leaders of the Papaikou surf team that will be taking responsibility in opening and closing the gate during extended summer hours. I'm ready to commit to make this management team work for the better. Charlene knows that, and I know that. I love surfing, and I want to teach the youth to surf so they can enjoy the ocean and outdoors. Words cannot explain the thrill I get from surfing. I can have one bad day, and after I surf, I feel prime. My body just feels so good and loose. I'm like an older brother to a young family friend. Take him to Papaikou Beach, teach him about surfing and about life. I want him to grow up strong and whole. I believe that surfing brings us balance and peace of mind. That's what I want for myself, and that's what I want for my young friend and the youth of Papaikou and Hamakua Coast, and anybody who wants to learn surfing. I just talking on behalf of myself and how I feel. I'm not getting paid, and it's just how I feel, and I just love the beach and love the ocean and love surfing, and this words kind of describe riding a wave down there. It's my home break. Thank you.
Thank you for your testimony. Go ahead, Nora, next testifier, please.
Our next testifier is Linda Sesenik, speaking in opposition to Resolution 308-12, Draft 2, to be followed by Jeff Sacco.
There are a number of residents at the bottom of Mill Road who are either too infirm or taking care of family members, but they did want their testimony read. The first is from Takashi Matsunaka. His testimony: I've lived at the end of Mill Road for my entire life of 93 years. I currently live in the last house on the Hamakua side of Mill Road, and I've been in this house since 1952. Over the years since the mill closed, non-resident parking along the side and at the end of Mill Road became a problem. People who parked there left much litter and trash. They came right into our property without permission to help themselves to the tangerines from our tree. They even parked in our driveway. On weekends, young people who parked at the end and on the side of the road kept us awake. They were loud and played music on their boom boxes at 1 and 2 a.m. in the morning. It was hell, his words. One time, someone parked on the side of the road across from our house, cut the lock on our downstairs door to steal tools, machinery, and even our laundry. Please protect the Silverton Camp residents who live on Mill Road. Please do not allow outsiders to park on the road shoulder, or in vacant lots along Mill Road. Many of the houses in Silverton Camp are very close to the road. We ask for consideration in protecting our peace and safety. The next one is from...
Hold on 1 second. For the testifiers, stop the time, please. Sorry, just to let you know that you will have 3 minutes. However, we don't allow people to read other people's testimony. I think the testimonies that we do have in the packets here. That was given to all the council members. But you will just have 3 minutes. If you want to read, but in 3 minutes, your testimony time will be over. But we don't allow people to read other people's testimony and have 3 minutes for all of those. Just to let you know, okay? So right now there's... Yes.
May I ask a question? May I ask a question?
No, you go ahead.
It's a procedural question. I was just wondering if my intent was just to have 3 minutes, not 3 minutes for each, just 3 minutes total. That I'm still not allowed to, in any circumstance, to read anybody else's testimony?
No, you can continue with your 3 minutes. I just thought you were going to read each. You said you had several testimonies to read. That's why.
Oh no. Just 3 minutes total.
Okay, very good. So you have about what's that, Ms. Hoffman? Minute 40. Go ahead. You have a minute 40 left. Go ahead.
Thank you. This one is from Grace Onaga. Her testimony: My mother is Sumei Onaga, and she has lived in Mill Road for over 68 years. She's been a neighbor of Mr. and Mrs. Takashi Matsunaka, who live at the bottom of the road for nearly 60 years. I am Sumei Onaga's youngest daughter, and I grew up here. I came back to take care of Mom 4 or 5 times a year, so have seen the changes which have occurred over the years. When the beach trail built by Jim Waugh first became usable and access was granted through the gate at the bottom of the road some 15 or more years ago, the parking situation around my mother's house quickly got out of hand. The roadside and the yard would often be littered with bottles, cans, and other refuse. Surfers were coming onto Mom's yard regularly to wash themselves and their surfboards. If the boys asked for permission to use the water, then Mom or I would say okay, but many never bothered. More often than not, the surfers would drive or walk into the yard and help themselves to the water. We finally took away the tap to stop people from coming in. The noise at night was oftentimes very loud too, because people would linger in their cars after being at the beach to talk story and blare music. The parking problem has since much improved, and I do not believe surfers are using Mom's water anymore, but there are still often strangers crossing the yard and through the banana bush to get to another portion of the beach. Mill Road generally, and especially at the bottom, cannot accommodate public parking. If public access through the back road and a separate connecting trail to the beach is created, I think it would be better for all the Mill Road residents. This is a quiet community with a lot of elderly people who just want to live their lives quietly. Beach access should be granted, but in a way that will not disrupt their lives. And the only thing I would add is that these are the people who are also going to be affected by this condemnation. Whether this is actually the trail or not, the public perception that the road and this trail are now public is a very serious problem, particularly for these people. Mahalo.
Thank you. Mahalo. Thank you very much for your testimony. Go ahead, Nora, with your next testifier, please. Thank you.
Our next testifier is Jeff Sacco, and he's speaking in opposition to Resolution 308-12, to be followed by David Paul.
Thank you. Good morning.
Jeff Sacco, Papaikou. There is a better way. Power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. Quote from Lord Acton. Again, the people are right to demand public access. The owner is absolutely right to defend their property, and the county is absolutely wrong in how they are going about this. Your first choice should not be through the use of eminent domain. That should be your last option. The reasons this won't hold water in the judicial system are obvious and as follows. You have a willing landowner offering an alternative path. You did not attempt to mediate or negotiate with the landowner within a reasonable and customary time frame or manner allowing for due process. The county cannot afford to make the path ADA compliant, maintain the path, and guarantee the safety of the public, Mill Road residents, and the Silverton camp. You have singled out only one of 4 landowners in the area. Oddly enough, it's the only landowner that does indeed allow access to the public, so it's clear that council has some sort of bias and agenda that I'm sure will be illuminated at a later date. County Council has refused to date to attach a fiscal note or discuss how they could pay for this path. Clearly, the county does not have the funds to allow for such a purchase. So why would you condemn the property through force? You continue to disregard the CDP and the collaborative efforts of the community. This body continues to give false sense of credibility to a resolution that is riddled with false and misleading whereas statements. You have, to date, caved to the special interests and lobbying tactics of global organizations that do not make up the community of Silverton Camp and Papaikou. The landowners have worked diligently, as requested, to meet with the community and are continuing to make great strides forward in a collaborative effort with the community of Silverton Camp and Papaikou. HRS 115 does not even mention eminent domain except for paths along the shoreline. If you establish precedent and use eminent domain as a first choice, I suspect you will have a plethora of new lawsuits against the county. 115-5, HRS 115-5, this section refers to transit along the shoreline and specifically below cliffs. The existing trail abuts a gulch and is clearly not a beach transit corridor. The choice today couldn't be more clear. I urge you to side with our community of Papaikou and work in collaboration with all parties and not cave to the pressure of outsider groups who want to set a precedent and take by force. It's the residents of Mill Road that will suffer. It's their right to quiet enjoyment you will be condemning too. Why not consider calling for a postponement so we can all have a win-win? Mahalo.
Thank you for your testimony. Go ahead, Nori. Next testifier, please.
Our next testifier is David Paul, and he's speaking in support of Resolution 308-12, to be followed by Jim Albertini.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, Council. Councilmember Young. I've been accessing the beach at the end of Mill Road since the summer of 1994. I was shown 2 trails there that first day I went. One was through the old mill, and the other one was the pig trail, which is currently underneath the trail we use now. To say that no trail existed prior to 1995 is a matter of misinformation, and we had 24-hour access to the beach then. Patrons could come and go to use the tides when the conditions were right. As anyone who lives with the ocean knows that many times this does not occur between 6:30 a.m. and 6:30 p.m. We have heard today, and we may hear some more, that people should be happy with currently restricted hours. This, of course, goes against what this country stands for. Any citizen who does not appreciate nor desires to exercise a specific right has no business to ask another to give that right up. It is the right of the people of Hawaii to be able to access the ocean, as so much of the culture is built around it. When this right is restricted, as it is now, livelihoods and the very culture that makes this place so special is restricted. This is not an issue as to why or how we came to this point. The issue now is whether the government, by the county council, will fulfill its duties to its constituents to preserve our rights. Without the time to add any further agreements before the council has the time to vote on this, it is up to you now to vote for beach access known to the beach known as Papaikou Mill now and forever, and I hope we will do so with the support of Resolution 308-12. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your testimony. Go ahead, Nora.
Our next speaker is Jim Albertini, representing Malu Aina, speaking in support of Resolution 308-12 and Bill number 333.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. Aloha kako, and a special mahalo and aloha to all the council members who will be leaving. Your service is appreciated. First on Bill 333. This is an important bill, and I'm here to support it because it protects and respects Native Hawaiians. And I think it's important to respect both the living and the dead. But we need to remember our ancestors. The traditional rites, the burial of the dead, it is the foundation for respecting the living. In Resolution 308-12, Draft 2, I'm in strong support of this. We need to remember that access to Papaikou Beach did not start with the colonial sugar mill. Hawaiians have been living here for 2,000 years, and their traditional rites were from Mauka to Makai. We need to affirm the Kanawai Mamalahoi, the law of the splintered paddle, that specifically says and recognizes the rights of the people on the trails, the highways, and the byways. And public access rights are just that, they're rights. They go with the land and not with the whims of the so-called present landowner. And I want to make a special mahalo to the Papaikou people for standing up for public access rights, because you're standing up for all of Hawaii's people and for the land. Mahalo.
Thank you for your testimony. Go ahead, Nora.
Our next speaker is Dwight Vicente to comment on resolution numbers 308-12 draft 2 and resolution 314-12.
Good morning, my name is Dwight Vicente, representing the Hawaiian Kingdom. 308-12. Land title needs to be always be questioned because there's only Crown and government lands here in Hawaii. Title can only be issued, or land contracts can only be issued through the kingdom, not through the provisional government, the Republic of Hawaii, the Territory of Hawaii, even the state of Hawaii. These are creatures of the Monroe Doctrine, which has no authority here. So for the county to be saying they're going to be buying land from who? From the kingdom? And what are they going to pay with, gold or silver? On a Papaikou mill, people are claiming to be owners, but yet they have no contract with this kingdom. So one needs to question, why is that? The plantation that erected that mill had a landing, and all these activities based on the Hawaiian Kingdom. That's where they got the contract to build at. And it was a term contract, it was not forever. At some point in time, the contract ended, just as the treaties ended. So the foreign nationals could not be here to continue what they were doing. But then again, they was using the Monroe Doctrine since 1887, which was illegally applied to this kingdom with the Bennett Constitution and Reciprocity Treaty. So you got a lot of land speculation based on tax map key, no contracts, immigration status, naturalization status is all in question. Native Hawaiian tenant rights needs to be respected, especially for the kingdom. The kingdom needs to be respected and placed in control. That would eliminate all these problems that's going on today with land issues. It's the Hawaiian Kingdom that created land title. And I think it's the only government that can resolve a lot of these issues. Land speculation under the Monroe Doctrine has created more problems than help since 1887. So I think that Monroe Doctrine should be removed from this kingdom and let the kingdom run the show. With this, I'll end by reserving the rights of this kingdom under the Queen's Protest of January 17, 1893. Against U.S. Minister Stevens, it is yet to make its way to the U.S. Supreme Court, original but limited jurisdiction under Article 3, Section 2, Clause 2. And the other one is the Monroe Doctrine, or the Northwest Ordinance of 1787. The venue is Washington, D.C., U.S. District Court. Thank you.
Thank you for your testimony. Go ahead, Nora.
Our next speaker is Flo Suarez speaking in opposition to Resolution 308-12 to be followed by Carrie Marks.
Thank you. Good morning.
Hi, good morning. Good morning, everyone. My name is Flo Suarez, living at Silverton Mill Road, Papaikou. I support Charlie's idea that she doesn't want anybody to park at that place, especially the side of the road. Because that way, there's more problem. Because when surfers were parking there, I let them park at my place too. Because they wanted to preserve. But when they leave, we leave their trash, broken bottles, and everything at my yard. That's why I make a gate to my property already. Past problems have included stealing, property theft, and car damages, and loud noise, yelling, and burn rubbers when we leave. I don't understand also the 24 hours access when here in Hilo, the parks are locked at 9 or 10 o'clock p.m. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your testimony. Go ahead, Nora.
Our next speaker is Carrie Marks, speaking on resolution numbers 314-12, 319-12, and 308-12 draft 2, and bill numbers 306 and 333. Commenting.
Thank you.
Good. Aloha. Good morning, everybody. On resolution 314-2, I strongly support Land Conservation Commission and acquiring the Kahuku coastal property. We need to preserve these things for future generations. We're not making any new, well, we are making a new beach, but you can't really go there because it's all superb and nasty and whatnot. So it's very important to preserve what we have, so I strongly support that. On resolution 319-12, that's the HSAC legislative package. I strongly support that. I think that's a good package, especially the branding and the agricultural product, country of origin labeling. That's good. I really like the Public Land Development Corporation resolution that you all put up, and several other things in there. So good job, you guys. Thank you for putting that together. Moving on, Bill 306. Rubbish. This is the one, the pay-as-you-throw one. I strongly support pay-as-you-throw for all the reasons that Sativa mentioned before and many more. She had a good point too, that we need to market this properly. People need to be convinced that they're already paying for it, whether they realize it or not. Nothing is free. You pay for it in your taxes, you pay for it somehow, so you're already paying for it. But because people don't actually write that check out themselves, they don't really care what they throw away. And they throw away massive amounts of stuff here. I also was raised on the mainland, and we pay as we throw there, and so I have, from a very early age, been conditioned to reduce, reuse, and recycle. We were limited to 1 can a week per house. And once you take out all the recyclable material, you can easily fit your rubbish into 1 can a week. But most people don't have to do that, so they don't. Strongly support that. Also, I think the dumping is a problem. I moved here about 12 years ago before the high five thing, and since we passed the high five recycling thing, the trash on the road has gotten better. People aren't at least throwing out money anymore because they recognize that's money, so they don't throw it out the car window right before they pull off the come on drive onto the saddle. You need to convict the dumpers. You need to go through, if anybody has ever heard Alice's Restaurant, it's a wonderful 20-minute song by Arlo Guthrie about dumping trash and how at the bottom of that hill of trash they found a letter with his name on it and he had to go to court about it. Please listen to it. Thanksgiving is coming up. It's a tradition. Almost every radio station runs it. Please check out Alice's Restaurant. Okay, moving on to Bill 333, about time. I read in the newspaper that this was passed in 2008, and yet the commission hasn't been seated. The commissions here in Hawaii County are horribly neglected. For example, there's supposed to be an Energy Advisory Commission meeting happening. There is an Energy Advisory Commission meeting happening right now in Honokaa. It's supposed to be teleconferenced in that conference room across the hall. It's on their agenda that they're teleconferencing it. This is the third time in 5 meetings in 7 months that they have not done what they said they were going to do. All the commissions need support. That's my favorite meeting of the month, and I'm missing it because I'm here instead of there when I thought I could run back and forth across the hall. So please pay attention to the commissions that you've chartered. Make sure that they're seated. There's a lot of empty seats on a lot of commissions, so we need to publicize that and move some people into filling those seats. That's all I have. Oh, except for on the secret burials. You can't ID secret burials. They're secret for a reason. Okay, so don't do that. Don't make a list of secret things. It's a bad idea. On 30812, this is the eminent domain Papaikou Beach access. I strongly support this. I've strongly supported this, I think 5 times now. And at the end of hearing everybody strongly support it all day, for the most part, I'd say it's like 80-20, then you sit and listen to Jim and Charlene go on and on and on for another hour. I really hope that does not happen today. They get their 3 minutes just like the rest of us. I understand that they have stake here, and so we need to talk with them, but we have talked with them ad nauseum, okay? This is not a new thing. I personally got signatures on that petition that's been mentioned several times. I think I wrote 4 or 5 pages. It's about 50 signatures. I didn't have to explain it to anyone. Everybody knew what it was when I put it in front of them. Oh, this is the Canadians. Sure, I'll sign it. That's pretty much how that went. No new trail. Do not blaze a new trail. Everybody's already talked about problems with that. You could find EV, you could find problems, there will be erosion, no new trail. The trail that's there, I agree with Tony, it's not that bad. I actually walked it myself about 10 or 11 years ago. As I mentioned, I had a homeless family living down that beach. I hauled all my supplies down there. I hauled bags of food for them and water and a whole backpack full of housing forms. It was not a bad trail. It was overgrown with grass, but it was easily traversable. I don't know about ADA compliance, but as we pointed out too, not every trail has. Honolulu doesn't have. How do you get a wheelchair down those stairs? So don't be stressing on the ADA compliance yet, but do be stressing about making a stand for public access. If they're not going to give, we will take it. And then quickly on the agricultural tourism. I didn't put that on my list, but I'm adding it now. Thank you.
That's fine, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I still don't like it. I'm a farm girl. Both my parents were raised on farms. I know what agriculture is. If it's tourism, they better be detasseling corn or growing beans. That's what it means to me. Mahalo, everybody. This will be our last meeting with a lot of you folks. Thank you all for your service. Look forward to seeing some of you again. And thank you very much. Aloha.
Aloha. Thank you for your testimony. Go ahead, Nora.
Okay, Chair Yagong, our final 2 speakers will be Keawe Gumapak, representing Kanaka Council Moku o Keawe, commenting on Bill 333, to be followed by Charlene Prickett.
Chair Yagong,
Thank you,
council
Aloha.
members, aloha. It's been a while since I've been before this council, and it's because I've been taking a hiatus in learning my political genealogy. And so I come before you with this document in hand that was just submitted to the United Nations, and it was accepted on August 10th, 2012. And it was a protest and demand that was accepted by the President of the UN General Assembly on behalf of the Kingdom of Hawaii. And the UN does not accept documents or recognize entities unless they recognize it as a state. A state, under definition by the United Nations, is a country. The President of the UN General Assembly recognizes the Hawaiian Kingdom as an existing country, and as a result accepted the prolonged occupation of the Hawaiian Kingdom since 1898. And 173 protests were also submitted to 173 other member nations at the UN. The UN has 193 member nations, of which 173 nations accepted this protest. So the existence of the Hawaiian Kingdom at the United Nations is recognized.
Yeah.
They have sent researchers to Hawaii already because war crimes have been submitted as a result of unfair trials that were held and submitted, and complaints submitted to the UN at the Geneva under the Human Rights Commission against Judge Tokase, Judge Nakamura, Judge Hara, and federal judge. There was another federal judge. They're currently under investigation. Because with this acceptance, what has happened? Hawaii now is considered an occupied country. And US laws cannot apply in Hawaii. And I am here to give notice as a result of the executive agreements that Queen Liliuokalani entered into between herself and President Cleveland back in 1893. These executive agreements,
Please summarize, sir.
these executive agreements were swept under the rug. And as a result, the County Council is responsible to enforce Hawaiian Kingdom Constitution. It's responsible. And so you're responsible to use Hawaiian Kingdom Constitution in all your jurisdiction. And so with Bill 333, you need to take a look at Bill 333 and use Hawaiian Kingdom law to apply, as well as all of the other laws that you have now got here and from this point on.
Thank you, sir.
It is very important. Wow.
Wow, thank you very much for your testimony. And Nora, correct me if I'm wrong, but that was your last testifier in Hilo?
Someone just signed up to testify, another one, but.
Okay, well, we'll come here to Kona and then we'll go back there. We have 5 more testifiers here in Kona, and then we'll do yours. And folks, just to let you folks know, we're going to be taking all the testimony. That should probably take us to just about 12:30 or so. At that point in time, the council will take a lunch break and we'll be returning back at 1:30. And we are going to be picking up 2 items right off the bat, 333-12 and 308-12, and then other items that the council would like to take up out of order. But that's the plan right now. So we'll take our testifiers, we'll break for lunch, come back at 1:30, and start with Bill 333. Okay, let's come next here to Kona. Let's have Justin Avery to come forward, along with Jennifer Ruggles, who come to the table as well. Our first testifier here in Kona will be Justin Avery to speak on 308-12 in support. Good morning.
Aloha, County Council, Chairman Igan. Thank you very much for your service to the county, and congratulations to Brittany Smart for getting the video access in Ocean View. Good job. That's been a long time coming. You know, you can hook a regular video camera up to the feed, and it's crystal clear. It's just as nice as this. It's a real simple thing to do. Thank you very much for allowing the community to put forth this resolution that will serve the entire community for generations to come. We've come here to Kona from Hilo to the last meeting to be held by this council to remind council of the overwhelming support behind passing this resolution, and to go to Costco. At the last council meeting, the council recognized Donna Psyche, who was commemorated by this council for a lifetime of outstanding achievements in the community. The council didn't itemize the list of accomplishments of Mrs. Psyche, but allow me to bring to your attention one of these accomplishments. At the time, some 30 years ago, the county was faced with a similar familiar situation we are in today. The beach that is known today as Richardson's Beach was under attack by the private few who wanted to control access to the beach and marginalize the public. We are faced with a similar situation. Today, Richardson's Beach is one of the most beautiful and prized beaches of the Hawaii Island community. Thank you, Donna Psyche, and to the county council and community members of that time who made that possible. What we have here today is a beautiful local beach at Papaikou that has been accessed for generations over a particular trail that is now being threatened by a private few. What we have to verify this is over 250 Papaikou residents who came out in person to testify to the importance of preserving access to this beach. What we have here today is over 6 generations of Keiki and Kupuna who have traveled down the same trail now being claimed as private property. What we have here today is a collection of historical maps that demonstrate this trail access to the beach dating over 100 years. What we have here today is an overwhelming majority of written and oral testimony in favor of this resolution and only a small handful in opposition. What we have here today is over 5,400 people who signed the petition calling for creating a permanent access to the beach. What we have here today are esteemed members of our community, like former planning director Chris Ewan and 25-year Hilo attorney Stephen Strauss, who publicly support this resolution. What we have here today are countless neighbors, keiki, students, fishermen, gatherers, surfers, and beachgoers being deterred from their right of public access to the extent that they are being harassed, intimidated, and fined. Many never return. What we have here today are numerous state laws that promote and even require public access to beaches. What we have here are property owners who have demonstrated on numerous occasions their clear interest and intent to privatize this public beach. The same property owners who have deceived the media and public into believing that they have created the trail to the beach. The same property owners who encourage local community members to make Mill Road a gated community. The same property owners who encourage the management of Hickey's and Baker Times and nearest places to park to get to the beach to discourage parking at their properties. The same property owners who incited Mill Road residents into believing that the Mill Road would become a racetrack to the beach, threatening the children. I humbly ask this county at the last meeting to pass this resolution for all the four mentioned reasons and for the generations to come. Thank you very much. Thank you for your service. Happy Thanksgiving.
Mom, thank you for your testimony. And I'm going to have to say good afternoon because it's after 12. Good afternoon. Next testifier is Jennifer Ruggles to speak on 308-12 in support. Good morning. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. My name is Jennifer Ruggles. I'm representing Global Hope. I just wanted to address some of your concerns from the last meeting. Ms. Ford, I did some research on the ADA compliance issue, and I found 2 reasons why this trail could be exempt from having to be ADA. One, it's already an existing trail that we'll be purchasing, and it can have historical significance so that it shouldn't be altered. And 2, there's a structural impracticability clause that exempts it from being ADA, and that trail seems pretty structurally impracticable due to its topography and terrain. And here I have something I'm going to give to you guys, and it lists 8 ways to fund the acquisition of this trail after we pass it. And also, I have to ask, seeing in the context of this being our last council meeting today, have you guys seen any more support from such a diverse amount of people and such a passion, participation from such a diverse amount of people? Students, fishermen, Kupuna, the new residents, local, young and old, everyone that's come out here. 250 people that showed up at 2 separate public hearings, 80 testifiers, 250 wearing palaka bands, 80 testifiers 3 times, always less than 5 in opposition. and all of the hundreds of people who have showed up previously but are not able to be here today, the 5,485 signatures who are not able to be here today. Now that Ms. Prickett has finally stopped ignoring the community and started really working with us, these efforts still do not address the problem at hand, which is the community deserves to feel welcome to the beach without feeling like they're trespassing, without feeling like it's a privilege provided through the generosity of the landowners, but like the beach is our trail and we have a right to be there. We deserve to feel welcome to the beach and not like we're trespassing along private land. And so here I've also prepared a couple statutes which support the establishment for this resolution. One is, of course, you've heard 115, and it says, it's very explicit, the county shall purchase land for public rights of way to shorelines, and even if it is by condemnation. And also statute 205A2, which says coastal zone, which established the coastal zone management program, which says it should provide accessible and diverse recreational opportunities by providing and managing adequate public access consistent with the conservation of natural resources for recreational value. To summarize, just please, this is a legacy that you guys are leaving here in your last year, so please uphold the will of the people and provide public access. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your testimony. Let's see, we have a few more people that did sign up in Hilo, so let's go back to Hilo for two more, I think there's three more testifiers in Hilo. Introduce your next testifier, please. Next two.
Our next two testifiers, the first one is Charlene Prickett, speaking in opposition to Resolution 308-12 Draft 2, and Joycelyn Eos, also speaking in opposition.
You want to go first?
Good morning.
I'm going to go first. Okay, I'm going to go first because I have to go to lunch. I put myself out on the limb here. I oppose this resolution. There is something inherently wrong for a government body to force possession through an eminent domain action when the property owner has fully complied with laws that govern providing public with access to the beach. Further, this eminent domain action is even more stark and alarming when that property owner has put so much effort into complying with the laws of our county and state and has already made such a personal investment into providing this access to the public. Time, money, and labor invested can be measured and has been invested by the property owner. Heart, soul, compassion, and goodwill are not so easily measured, yet the same property owner has also invested so much of her personal being into complying with our laws and providing access for the general public to the beach. It would be an abuse of authority on the part of the council to condone an eminent domain action when the owner has complied with property access laws. Chair Yagong meeting with citizens and citizens groups, excluding the property owner prior to introducing the eminent domain resolution, gives a perception of collusion. And I don't know, it may have been improper on his part and could be open to a lawsuit or court action, a higher court action, maybe state or federal, I don't know. Council members are entrusted with giving proper weight to both property owner and public interest, and not to give in to mob rule. That is truly upholding the laws of our county and state. I hear a lot of talk from testifiers saying that so many people signed petitions and blah, 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 blah. But did those people who signed it know that the property owner did give access, that the property owner invested time, money, her sweat and tears into providing access for quite a bit of time before they signed it? Perhaps they have been misinformed. And I hear a lot of misinformation going on in these testimonies. And I put myself out in a limb. I work at the county council in council services, and I may be politically incorrect. I may be shooting myself in the foot or whatever, but I don't like to see things that are going wrong that are going wrong. And it's a very sad state for our government to be doing this to our citizens. Property owners have rights just like the public.
property owners have to comply with laws and obey the laws, and in this case, I think she has, I believe she has. It's up to government officials to weigh it properly. And I know a lot of people may have been misinformed, and a lot of people think that there won't be public access, but there is public access. And it's not right what's going on. And you're our council members, you govern us. You know, do what's right. Above all, you have to do what's right to govern for the whole island and for all us citizens. Uphold all of our rights. That's all.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your testimony. Your next testifier, please, Nora.
Okay, our final two speakers, next is Charlene Prickett, speaking in opposition to Resolution 308-12, Draft 2, to be followed by Gabe Barfield.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
So I'm Charlene, and I'm from Arkansas. I'm an American. The proposed alternate route is not anywhere near the graves that were left on that property. It would go through the old cane pit and through several cane pits actually, and then down to the mill. It's not anywhere near those graves, and we still hope to provide that. And to that end, this week I signed a memorandum of agreement with groups that will become partners in the operation of beach access at Papaikou Mill. The Papaikou surfer team will be the gatekeepers, open and close the gate in the summer. Broadus Gibbs and his Basic Image Foundation signed on to sponsor youth learning experiences and support local community leaders. And a caretaker group will maintain the lower portion of the trail and encourage respect for the place. This agreement calls for Jim and me to participate in a community working group with representatives of Papaikou, Mill Road, and interested stakeholders, and that group would refine the details of operation for the access. And included in this agreement is access for night fishing with 48 hours notice. But I actually think there's a better solution for fishermen using a phone message service. Out of respect for one of the signatories who prefers not to be identified at this time, I can't give you all the names who signed on to this, but I have provided a redacted copy. Since the last council meeting, there was a productive beach cleanup, which cleared a large part of our bottomland where Skibbs Paka did clearing last year, and that beach cleanup, like the one before, was terrific. Honorable council members, taking an improvement with the intent of continuing to use the existing improvement is an unprecedented use of eminent domain. The condemnation and eminent domain processes are typically used to acquire land so it can be put to a different use, condemning farmland, say, to build a road. The resolution proposes to take our land not simply because it lies between existing public roads and the ocean, but explicitly because we already built a trail there. The county would not be interested in our land if it still looked like that photo, the black and white photo of the hillside that you have in your hand. If that's what it looked like today, and they came to you and said, let's build the public access, I don't think you'd do it on that steep hillside. This trail was originally built as a farm road to a grade that an excavator could go down, and that's to salvage the west end of the mill. Demolition of the mill requires access at both ends. So council should understand that we are going to need to take an excavator down there to resume the mill salvage that was started 2 years ago. And there will be damage done to that trail by the excavator, and the extent of that reconstruction required when the project is complete may be significant, and any incentive we might have to reconstruct the trail.
Charlie, 1 second. Just to let you know, I'm absolutely positive that councilor will be able to call you up when the item comes forward, but this is a 3-minute testimony, so
okay, I have
please,
4
if we can
words
summarize real quickly.
any incentive we might have had to reconstruct that trail after getting the mill out would be removed by this taking.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your testimony. Let's come back here to Kona, and I believe you have one more testifier. Is that correct, Nora?
That's correct.
Okay, we have two more here in Kona, so let's do the two here in Kona, and we'll go back to Hilo. If I could ask Amber Charles to come forward, along with Donovan Charles. Okay, our first testifier is Amber Charles to speak on Resolution 308-12, as well as Bill 333. Aloha. Need to turn it on. Need to press the button on the very bottom. Okay.
Turn it off.
There you go. And just bring the microphone close to you, please.
Okay. First, I would just like to comment on Bill 333.
Okay.
In regards to Bill 333 and activity of the Hawaii County Cultural Commission, I have recently learned at my class at UH that culture is considered to be one of the innate distinguishing qualities of Homo sapiens, of humans. And I believe that the Native Hawaiians and preservation of their culture is very important for them and really for the world. The Hawaiian culture is very unique, and I think that it really must be maintained, and there need to be people who are able to do that and established to do that. So I hope that the activity of the Cultural Commission can be greater and more established. For the Hawaiians and many cultures, mana is really held in the bones, and issues regarding burial grounds should be heavily considered and dealt with by people who really understand the culture. Please respect and honor culture and keep secret burial grounds secret. There is a reason for this. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so now I will move to Resolution 308-12.
Thank you.
Myself and my family are residents of Hilo. I have traveled far today to speak in support of Resolution 308-12. Though I do love Kona, I feel that it is unfortunate for this resolution's final hearing to be held across the island from where the issue takes place, far away from all the people who have shown you in recent weeks, months, and years their passion and support for saving this trail. The trail that leads to perhaps the best beach on the east side. Most people who have been to Papaikou Beach could verify how palpable and strong the mana of this place really is. Aside from the spiritual and emotional connection so many share with this place, making this trail public through eminent domain is a matter of upholding the law, upholding our democratic rights and real justice. Council people, please remember these previous meetings where hundreds of residents showed up over and over wearing palaka bands and testifying in support of this resolution. Please remember the 5,485 signatures on petitions in support of this resolution, the international and local organizations in support of this resolution. Please remember how small the numbers are for people who are opposed to this bill. Please recognize that those who are opposed to this seem to have other agendas and may stand to benefit financially if the bill is denied. HRS 115-2, acquisition of lands for public rights-of-way and public transit corridors, says that counties shall purchase land for public rights-of-way to shorelines, sea, and inland recreational areas. HRS 115-5, beach transit corridor, defined states that counties by condemnation eminent domain may establish along the Makai boundaries of the property lines public transit corridors. This is not a difficult decision to make. You just have to uphold the law. Eminent domain sounds extreme, but every other option has been exhausted. And eminent domain has been used, as previously stated today, many times already this year. It is not that serious of a thing. If the majority of the people in the community wish to have their tax dollars dedicated to this cause, how can fair market value on only a half of an acre be too much to pay? There are funds available. HRS 115-7 mandates the DLNR and county agencies to match funds for land acquisition. Federal Coastal Zone Management Act of 1972 provides financial support from NOAA's NOAA, National Organization of America's, I guess another one, Office of Ocean and Coastal Resource Management, Section 303 provides grants for these purposes, as well as funds from various other places on the county finance department. So there are funds for this available. In regards to Charlene Prickett upholding the law as far as providing access, so she has not been upholding the law, and people have been arrested on the trail during the daylight hours. So please consider this. Okay, to summarize, the mayor just said that as far as parking, there is the option of parking at the top of the road near Pinky's, and to walk down. The trail in question is a pedestrian trail, and parking can be considered at a later date. Any problems that arise when the public uses a beach can be dealt with through regulations that are already in place for other public beaches and those that live near any beach or park. Thank you so much. Happy Thanksgiving. Thanks for everything that you guys do, and I really hope that you support the people in this issue. Mahalo.
Thank you very much for your testimony. Our final testifier here in Kona, and then we'll go back to Hilo, is Donovan Childs to speak on Resolution 308-12 in support. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Yes, hello. My name is Donovan Childs, and I am in support of Resolution 308-12. I'd like to first state that I'm a pretty active person. I play football, with frisbee, I do parkour and free running on a daily basis. In fact, I gave up my training schedule today to come here because I think this is an important issue. I'd like to mention that as far as in coming and supporting something I care about even more, which is enjoying the beautiful beaches in Hawaii, I'd like to state that I'm really here to speak for the younger generation. And I've realized that by stopping access to Mills Beach, we're really building this inner cynicism in students and children that will build and build to a point to where they think their word means nothing, or is not heard, or doesn't matter. And I'm here to prove that it does matter. They can do it. One voice can make a difference. Thank you for your time. Donovan Childs. Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your testimony. Okay, let's go back to Hilo. Laura, your final testifier, please.
Our final testifier is Katie Barfield, commenting on Resolution 308, Draft 2.
Yes, good day and good morning here and in Kona. Last time I testified here, there was a very, very large turnout, as all the other speakers have mentioned, have been occurring over time. And I would just first like to say that I'm rather offended by the term used, mob rule, by one of the previous speakers to define and describe citizen participation in voicing our values to our council members. So I certainly hope you will, and I will, eradicate that conception of our participation as young, old, and every cross-section population to value our land and our state and our property and our rights. I won't reiterate what I said last time. You have that in notes, please. But I just want to say that I think we've moved forward now through every kind of process needed to get to this point of a final vote. And I hope you will seriously, all of you here and in Kona on the council, realize that the vast majority of our very well-informed and educated and caring citizens have stated that our preference is to use monies constructively to maintain this for the future generations and for the state and the island. I know there's been lots of conflict. I hope that this will move us through and beyond that and beyond the legalese and kind of threats of, creating fear that if you pass this, you'll all be in trouble, because there's lots and lots of information that's conveyed that's not so. I wish everyone well. I hope this resolves peacefully, and I hope you vote in favor of this act today. I won't be able to return this afternoon because I have plans and meetings, but I wanted to quickly drop in to again reiterate our hopes
as some young person said, is you as final council members to leave a great legacy. Mahalo and happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your testimony. Thank you everyone for your patience. As we've gone through all of the public testimonies and all of the different sites, we're at 12:25 right now. We will be returning at 1:30, and we're going to be taking up resolution 333-12 first, and then 308-12, and then any other items that the council like to take out of order. With that, we are in recess to 1:30. Thank you.